Renay Mandel Corren. A plus-size Jewish lady redneck died in El Paso on Saturday. Of itself hardly news, or good news if you're the type that subscribes to the notion that anybody not named you dying in El Paso, Texas is good news. In which case, I got good news for you. The baldy, fertile, red-headed matriarch of a sprawling Jewish-Mexican redneck American family has kicked it. This was not good news to Renay Mandel Corren's many surviving children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, many of whom she even knew and, in her own way, loved. There will be much mourning in the many glamorous locales she went bankrupt in. McKeesport, Pennsylvania, Renay's birthplace and where she first fell in love with ham and atheism. Fayetteville and Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, where Renay's dream, credit rating, and marriage are all buried. And of course Miami, Florida, where Renay's parents, uncles, aunts, and eternal hopes of all Miami Dolphin fans everywhere are all buried pretty deep. Renay was preceded in death by Don Shula. Because she was my mother, the death of Zactive Goodtime gal Renay Corren at the impossible old age of 84 is newsworthy to me, and I treated it with the same respect and reverence she had for, well, nothing. A more disrespectful, trash-reading, talking, and watching woman in North Carolina, Florida, or Texas was not to be found. Hers was an itinerant, much-lived life, a Yankee Florida liberal Jewish tough gal who bowed him in Japan, rolled him in North Carolina, and was a singular unique parent. Often frustrated by the stifling conservative culture of the South, Renay turned her voracious mind to the home front, becoming a model stay-at-home parent, a supermom, really, just a perfect PTA lady, volunteered amateur baker, and just kidding y'all. Renay, Rosie to her friends, and this was a broad who never met a stranger, worked double shift with Doreen, ate ton of carbs with Bernie, and could occasionally be stirred to stew some stuffed cabbage for the kids. She played cards like a shark, bowled and played cribbage like a pro, and laughed with the boys until the wee hours, long after the last pin dropped. At one point in the 1980s, Renay was the 11th or 12th ranked woman in cribbage in America. And while that could be a lie, it sounds great in print. She also told us she came up with the name for Sunoco, and I choose to believe this too. Yes, Renay lied a lot, but on the plus side, Renay didn't cook, she didn't clean, and she was lousy with money too. Here's what Renay was great at: dyeing her red roots, weekly manicures, dirty jokes, pier fishing, rolling joints, and buying dirty magazines. She said she'd read them for the articles, but filthy free speech was really Renay's things. Hers was a boldy, rowdy, life lived large, broke and loud. We thought Renay could not be killed. God knows, people tried, a lot. Renay has been toying with death for decades, but always beating it and running off in her silver Chevy Nova. COVID couldn't kill Renay, neither could pneumonia twice, infections, blood clots, bad feet, breast cancer twice, 2 mastectomies, 2 recessions, multiple bankruptcies, marriage to a philandering sergeant major, divorce in the 70s, 6 kids, 1 cesarean, a few abortions from the quietly famous abortionist of Spring Lake, North Carolina, or an affair with Larry King in the 60s. Renay was preceded in death by her ex-boyfriend, Larry King. Renay was also sadly preceded in death by her beloved daughter, Kathy Sue Corren Lester, Tremel Webster, of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, who herself was preceded in death by 2 marriages, a fudge shop, and 1 eyeball loss in her near-fatal Pepsi bottle incident that will absolutely be explored in future obituaries. Losing her one-eye badass bee of a daughter in 2007 devastated Renay, but it's also made her quite homeless, since Kathy pretty much picked up the tab. A talented and gracious grifter, Renay M. Corren eke out her final years of luxury. She literally retired at 62 under the care, compassion, and checking accounts, and evidently unlimited patience of her favorite son and daughter-in-law, Michael and Lourdes Corren, of world-famous cow sanctuary El Paso, Texas. Renay is also survived by her son, Jeffrey Corren, and his endlessly tolerant wife, Shirley. Of Powell's Point, North Carolina, Scott Corren and what's left of his colon. Of Hampton, Virginia, Mark and Lauren Corren, the loveliest dirt farmer of Vernon, Texas. Seriously, where's that? And her favorite son, the gay one who writes catty obituaries in his spare time, Andy Corren of obviously New York City. Plus 2 beloved granddogs, Mia and Hudson. Renay was particularly close to and grateful for the lavish attention of her granddaughter, Perla, and her great-grandchildren, Elijah and Leroy, as well as her constant cruise companion Sam Trammell of Greenville, North Carolina, and Adam Corren of El Paso, Texas. Renay took tremendous pride in making 1 gay son and 2 gay grandchildren. There will be a very disrespectful and totally non-denominational memorial on May 10, 2022, most likely at a bowling alley in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The family requests absolutely zero privacy or propriety, none whatsoever, and in fact encourages you to spend some government money today on a one-armed bandit and the blackjack table or a cheap cruise to find our inheritance. She spent it all, folks. She left me nothing but these lousy memories, which I and my family of 5 brothers and my sisters-in-laws, nephew, friends, nieces, neighbors, ex-boyfriends, Larry King's children, who I guess I might be one of, the total strangers who all, to a person, love and will cherish her forever. Please think of the brightly frocked, frivolous, funny, and smart Jewish redhead who's about to grief you, tell you a filthy joke, and for Larry King's sake, laugh. Bye, Mommy. We love you to bits. Rest in peace, Renay Mandel Corren.